about that just for a second of how could this work? How could you counteract so many years of your life with such a short period of self-improvement of focusing on being more masculine? Because this is how you're supposed to be. For all of your life, you've been swimming upstream, being pushed, but just constantly swimming upstream with so much friction. But finally, we're going to turn you around and make you swim alongside the stream. And you're going to find that it just feels so natural, so right. The fact that you've sat through and listened to all of this demonstrates at least your interest in the things that I'm saying. And you're probably relating to a lot of the things that we spoke about so far. Inside of you right now, if there is a feeling of injustice, if there is a feeling of like this gut pain that you've been wronged, that your life should have been so different than what it is today, then you know that you've clicked on the right video. So let's now discuss how you can become more masculine. And the most practical, no BS way to do this is to first find and discover your purpose and mission, and then set goals and obsess over those goals. And we're going to break this down. I'm going to walk you along the process with me, and there's going to be an actionable step in this section of this guide. So do this right now. In the description of this video on YouTube, I've linked a Notion template which you can use to set your goals. Scroll down to that link and click on it right now, and then come back to this video. When you click on that link, you should see a page just like this, and I'm going to walk you through the exact process that I personally use to set and obsess over goals. And this process, not only has it created massive amounts of success for me personally in my own life, but it's also just made me so much more masculine. I'm just going to explain to you why goal setting makes you more masculine. It's the single most practical thing that you have complete control over that will make you more masculine. Why? Because like we said, the masculine energy is all about making progress. Inside of you is this natural desire to make progress, either to ejaculation to impregnate a woman, or to develop yourself to get to the point where you can do that. We have inside of us a core desire, which is to make progress to some kind of meaningful work. And so you need to figure out what is this meaningful work, this mission, this purpose for yourself. And so I have some journaling prompts that you can do right now as an actionable step that will help you to discover things like your mission, your purpose, and then your goals. And then very shortly, we'll actually go through the goal setting procedure. Okay, so here are 3 journaling prompts that you should do right away. So you should ask yourself these questions and journal the answer either on a piece of paper or on some document on your computer. Number 1. What stage of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs do I need to fulfill? The hierarchy of needs is a pyramid. It's a concept made by the psychologist Abraham Maslow, and it's all about the fundamental desires that we have as humans. And I think it's incredibly important to figuring out where you are in life. The bottom level of this pyramid are all the essential things that we need to survive, like breathing, drinking water, eating food, excreting. Every level above that is another desire that creates a well, meaningful, fulfilling life for us. What's very interesting that I've noticed, which might help you with your answer to this question, is that your mind will ruminate on the need that you're currently stuck on. So let's say, for example, you're extremely thirsty. Your thoughts are going to be based on drinking water. But of course, let's say if all your essential survival necessities are taken care of. For the majority of men, even though the majority of guys don't want to admit this, the need, the desire that they're stuck on is that of sex and love. Their mind ruminates on sex and love. That's the desire that they need right now. It's very important for you to be totally authentic and honest with this journaling prompt that you should do right now. Which stage of Maslow's hierarchy of need do I currently need to fulfill? What does your mind ruminate on? And just write down the answer, and it just be very interesting, because I think the majority of guys who answer this question truthfully would say sex. And I think a fair amount of guys would also say social connection. These are fundamental desires, and sure, you can, with a sense of motivation and discipline, look past them to, focus on something else. And, the sort of modern day, oh, I don't need girls, oh, you focus on yourself, king. You feel a lot more free when you've fulfilled a desire, a need on this pyramid. And so it's just very interesting to figure out where you are, because this will really help you with your goal setting. Because I could rant about this separately, man, but like I am a big advocate of just being totally open and authentic and just saying like, yep, I want a girlfriend. Yep, I'm going to set some goals based on being able to have sex, because that's something that my mind is ruminating on, and it's something that would fulfill me. A lot of people disagree with this, and there's that whole modern narrative of like, oh yeah, we don't need women, and then women say this as well, oh, we don't need men, Both groups are just lonely as fuck. So you can choose, but I personally think that if your mind is ruminating on a need in this pyramid, it would be of your best interest to fulfill that need and to set a goal based on that. The second journaling prompt to ask yourself and to answer right now is, what is some work that I can do that will help my tribe? And the answer to this question may help you find your purpose? What is some work that you can do to help other people that you care about, a group that you care about? First, you need to kind of figure out who is even in your tribe. Is it just your family and your friends? Is there some kind of community that you're a part of? Have you created almost like a social movement like you see before you right now? Who is in your tribe and what can you do to help them? You see, in the modern day, so many men are lacking masculinity and this sense of like being connected with our tribe that we only think about ourselves. One of the best things that you can do is to have a self-transcending purpose. And that simply just means to have like a reason why you're doing something which is bigger than you. Self-transcending means bigger than you. And purpose is kind of like the reason, the because of the action that you're taking. What is the purpose of your life? Why do you do what you do? Why is your life important? How can the work that you do help someone that you care about? Because in the end, that's really the only important thing. It's not even about the money, the rewards, the girls, anything like this. In the end, it all just comes down to, were you a good member in your tribe? It's very important for you to just take a minute right now and first answer the initial question, who is in my tribe? What is my tribe? And then to ask yourself, okay, what is work that I could do to help them? For me, my tribe, even in high school, it always felt like my tribe was other guys who were struggling with the same problems as me. My mind would almost automatically teach what I had just learned to like an imaginary young man in my own mind. Does that make sense? So I would learn something, let's say about fitness or about dieting, and it's like my mind would just be like teaching it to itself, pretending itself was like a separate guy. And so you can see that YouTube was like the perfect work for me to get into. And now my tribe that I'm trying to help with this self-transcending purpose is young men around the world who are tuning in, who want to improve themselves. A purpose is so important. Purpose, I want to explain this so clearly because for so long I didn't understand what purpose meant. You know, so many people talk about it online. Purpose is just the reason why. It's the because of your action, of your mission. My mission is to help young men improve themselves. And my purpose, the why, the because of that mission. Why do I want to help young men improve themselves? Because I've done it for myself. Because I've lived that life. I've lived the life of like total indulgence and pleasure of that modern day like bad habits. And I hated my life then. I was so depressed, and I feel like I have the answers in my brain. And so I work relentlessly to try and just help people around the world because I think that I can. It's some good work that I can do. And the third journaling prompt to ask right now is, what do I want my life to be like in 10 years time? To help you with this question, I want to just give you one piece of advice. Think big. There is magic in thinking big. Don't settle for mediocrity. Ambition, especially thinking big and setting a very, very authentic, desirable future for yourself, is an incredible thing. And if you work hard and obsess over a goal like that, you know, you really think to yourself, okay, I'm 22 right now. What would be the best life that I could have at 32 years old? And you start to write that down and you start to visualize it and you start to like work towards it, and you know, we'll set some goals regarding this together. You make some incredible progress, and it's all about where you set that goal. Do you know, for the majority of goals that I've set, I've had people say, nope, that's crazy, it's impossible. And yet I'm here. It's so easy for your own brain to be like the naysayer in this. And so this is a very important question to ask yourself. How far does your own mind think that you can go? How big is your brain thinking when it thought about this journaling prompt of like, where do you want to be in 10 years from now? And also take some time to really consider some very important things. Do you want to be a father 10 years from now? Chances are, if you're watching this 10 years from now, you probably will be. And so what do you want life to be like then? I can't really give you advice on this because this is all based on, you know, your own desires, the kind of life that you want, the life that you think is best for your future children and your family. But the majority of men don't really think about a question like this. They just kind of think what they're going to eat for dinner today. That's as far as their thinking really goes. But a man who thinks in decades is dangerous. And that's a quote from a man that I really respect, Chris Sturmsley, otherwise known as First Man. Men who think in decades are dangerous. So those 3 journaling prompts should give you some kind of idea on the goals that you should set. So now if you look back to that goal setting template that I got you to click on, start to fill out some of those boxes. What is a goal that you want to achieve 10 years from now? I've already put some templates and examples of the kind of goals that I set for myself, so you can just kind of alter them to fit your own desires. A very important thing that you should do right now is to start off with the longer term goals, the 10-year, 5-year, and 1-year goals, and then the monthly milestones. So you see that there's a column for every month going to the next year. Those goals for the month, you should see more like milestones to achieve the big goals. Once you have a document like this and your goals are really organized, that becomes so helpful. And the way to use this practically in your normal day-to-day life is to base all decisions of the long term, the 1, 5, 10-year goals that you've set. Visualize and make decisions based on these big long-term goals, but then obsessively focus and work on the short-term milestones. Because it's these short-term monthly milestones that cause you to kind of push forward a bit. But the monthly milestones milestone for me kind of reminded me of like setting a rep or a weight goal in the gym. It's something, okay, I'm focused on right here, right now. But the bigger thing to kind of, wake up and sort of make big decisions about and to visualize is like the end of year goal, 5 years from now. So it's very important that you have this divide between monthly milestone goals, which you obsessively work towards, and then these long-term yearly goals, which you make decisions based on. Once you finish this goal page and you've added in all the details that you want and you feel like you need, obsess over it. This is one of the most important things that I do, and if you want to take something from me, make it this. Obsess over this singular practical page that you have here. It's the first thing that's open on my laptop. I look at it on my phone. Anytime, you're wasting time, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, you're waiting in line for something, you're walking somewhere and you're just flicking on your phone, and of course you should try and be more mindful and stuff. But like anytime I'm just randomly on my phone, I don't have social media anymore because I literally just look at this one page, and the amount of intention and ideas that you get from just obsessing over this one page that reminds you constantly, okay, this is what you said you would achieve this month, is so valuable. Because goal setting and goal obsessing is the single greatest way to become more masculine, because it just makes you so aligned with your work and your desires and this feeling, this crave of progress. Because you see, these goals that you've set out, what they symbolize is progress to your mission and to your purpose. So the total level, the thing that really fulfills men is having this huge mission, this huge purpose. But the way to make the most progress to these things is by obsessing over the goals. But then to actually make progress in these goals, you need discipline and mental health. So you want to be more masculine and relentlessly work towards your goals and your purpose. That's where discipline and mental health come from. Discipline and good mental health determine your work rate and your productivity. Mental health especially is overlooked for a lot of men. It's something that we're beginning to talk a lot about. I have personally found that improving your mental health is the single best thing that you can do to increase your productive work output. Do you know all those productivity tactics you've ever heard of? The Pomodoro technique and all of these things. Improving your mental health through things like journaling and meditation actually increases your output, your productivity, more than all of those things. I made a 2-hour full guide that you can watch for free on improving your mental health. I'll have like a little card pop up on screen and I'll have it linked in the description as well. I highly recommend you have a look at that. I know mental health doesn't seem like a very fun video or concept to like learn about, but I promise you that it will have some of the highest return on investment that you can find. Your ability to just keep your brain operating well, that's how you accomplish anything else. Discipline is a mindset, and just like good mental health, it drastically improves your work rate, and improving your work rate improves the progress that you make to your goals. Improving the progress that you make to your goals fulfills your mission and purpose, which makes you more masculine. So you see how all this links up. And so discipline is an absolute cornerstone virtue and trait in masculinity. Discipline is the skill of doing the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. I'm gonna say something controversial, but in the modern day, you've been conditioned to be so in touch with your emotions. You are the most emotional guy in touch with your feelings than any man in your bloodline before this. Now, I think it's fantastic to be aware of your emotions, because that's a practice of mindfulness that comes from like meditation and everything. But to be emotional, to be in your feelings, well, feelings are fickle. And this is why you see so many guys that aren't disciplined, because they don't feel like doing the hard work right now. And you can probably relate to this. We're not talking about any other guys. We're talking about you.